Welcome, Trojan hockey fans, to Gaylord, Michigan. The Trojans take on the Gaylord Blue Devils tonight. And before we even start, I'm going to give a shout out to the Gaylord Blue Devils and their goalie. Their roster is 10 kids and 1 goalie. And as a hockey player, I can't even fathom playing at this level with 2 lines and 1 goalie. So before we even start, they get a +2. We're past lineups in the national anthem. And the boys go to the bench. We're going to get Soper and Burkholder back, Burley, Peters, and Fogelman up front. It's a new line, last game or 2, and I think they're starting to gel together, and I see this line producing some good stuff. So referee lines the boys up. Puck drops, won by Traverse City, sent back to Burkholder. Burkholder picks that up, takes a look. Backhands it to Burley. Burley sends it up. Nice pass up the middle to Fogelman. Fogelman comes in on one shot. Right into the goalie of, I got to ask the goalie's mom, pronounce his name?
David Opalinsky.
Opalinsky with a nice glove save there. Oh, I made mom turn red and laugh. I love it. So 16:47 first period. Gaylord wins the face-off in their end. The Blue Devils try to send it around, but it's picked up by Graham Peters. Graham Peters goes to Burkholder. Burkholder sends it in deep. It goes all the way to the point. Back to Burkholder. Burkholder on the boards by the circle. Pinches in. He comes around the backside of the net. Checks up. Tries centering pass. Stopped by the goalie. Right in the crease, and we get a whistle. The face-off will be on the left side of Opalinsky. 16:23 first period. Everybody goes for a wholesale line change. We'll get Beatty, Weaver, and Davidson up front. Davidson, face-off, shot blocked before it hit the net. Harvey gets it on defense. Sends it toward the net. Opalinsky deflects that up into the netting. We'll get another face-off to the left side of the goalie. Braden White out there with Harvey. Braden and Harvey have played hockey together for quite a while. So I'm thinking they're pretty comfortable together. Weaver wins that face-off. Beatty ends up with it. He spins around, centering pass through the crease. White pinches in, ties up his man, allows Weaver to get it. Weaver shoots again. Another deflection by Opalinsky into the net. We're going to get a face-off. 16:04 first period. They do not track shots on goal on the clock here, so I cannot keep you updated with that. But Harv and White stay back. Evan Blazak, goalie, didn't know where it was. Referee lost sight of it on the far side. It was a great stop by Opalinsky, but when it bounced down, he was looking all over for it, and it was literally right in front of him. But sometimes that's hard to pick up. So Blazak again, face off. It goes to Davidson. Davidson sends it back to White. White to Harvey. Harvey puts it in deep. Blazak picks it up. Centering pass blocked. Blazak with a move. Centering pass shot by Humphreys. Blocked before it got to the net. Blue Devils try to get it out. Second effort. It comes out now. Chipped up. It goes back to Harv. Harv's got to go back. He hits White. White fans on the pass back to Harv. Comes around the boards to Blazak. Blazak up to Humphreys. Humphreys out. Humphreys was looking to hit Davidson, but the pass came off this side of Davidson. He couldn't reach it. We get an icing call. So we'll change lines again. We got Kasu Lehtinen, Treadway, and Collier out there with Klusterman and Conaway. Face-off, won by the Trojans. Klusterman and Conaway switch sides. Klusterman goes back to Conaway. Conaway had hit Collier. Collier's pass out got intercepted. And now the Trojans got to work to get it. Conaway in front of the net, block that. Conaway's going to jump up into the rush with Treadway and shot. Treadway, second effort, stopped by the goalie, steered aside. And the net is off, so we'll get a whistle. The Trojans with some pressure here early in the first, but the goalie Opolinski pretty solid so far. Several shots on net. All right, we'll get Peters, Fogelman, and Burley back out there with Conaway and Klusterman. Klusterman spins around, sends it deeper to Burley. Burley gets pinned on the boards, hands it off to Peters. Conaway with a shot, blocked by the goalie, just kept in. And Fogelman's got it in the middle of the circle. He shoots off the glove of the goalie. Klusterman behind the net sends that puck around, and the Blue Devils are able to pick that up, whack it down the ice. They're willing to take the icing call to change lines. Again, 10 players for the Blue Devils. When I was in the best shape I've ever been, I cannot imagine playing hockey at this level, 2 lines for 3 periods. So Soper and Burkholder on defense, Peters, Burley, and Davison out there. Shot from Soper, stopped by the goalie. Burley able to keep it in. He traded with Soper. Soper back to Burley, shot! Again, great save by Opolinski. Fogelman's got it. He sends it to Peters. Another kick save by Opolinski. Holy mackerel. I think Opolinski's going to lose 5 pounds in this game. So Peters sent it to Fogelman. Fogelman to the point. Back to Fogelman. In the middle. Steered aside. Soper's got it on the point near me. He comes across top of the circle. He looks. He goes across to Burkholder. Burkholder fires it wide of the net. Makes it all the way to Soper. Soper toward the net. Off the stick of Opolinski and into the net. I wish they had shots on net, because this poor goalie's probably going to end up at the rate we're going at plus 50 shots on net. And so far, very solid net. Carter Schlegel, our starting goalie, has not been tested very hard. Sometimes that's not good for a goalie. They get a little bit cold in net, and if a breakaway or something unexpected happens, it's hard for the goalie to stand on his head. So Harvey's got it. He steps in, trades up with Blake Davidson. Beatty's got it. Beatty sends it off. Oh, another great save on Weaver by Opolinski. Weaver at the point, dumps it deep behind the net. Beatty looks, he checks up, keeps it in. Spins at the circle, goes back to the point. Braden Way with a shot that was blocked before it ever got to the goalie. Weaver has it, sends it toward the net. Second shot. Opolinski hangs on, draws a whistle. Ooh, this kid's doing pretty good. Big kid too. His shoulders are well above the crossbar. Evan Blazak going to take this face off with Humphreys, and that's a tough duty to hold on to. So Harvey sends that puck to the bench. If I'm not mistaken, that's Blake Davidson's first varsity goal. All right, Harv's got it. He sends it to Blazak. Blazak tips it out. Gaylord sends it back. Evan Blazak comes through the middle, checks up, centers it toward the goal wide. Blazak's got it again. He reverses it to Blake Davidson, who loses it. Blazak sends it back to Davidson, centering pass, tipped just off a Humphrey stick, and the Blue Devils bring it out. Far side of the red line, dumped in. That'll draw an icing called. 11:38. We'll get another face-off. And the Trojans are going to pick the left side of Opolinski. Conaway and Klusterman back out there. Treadway, Kastu, Lehtinen, and Collier. Conaway to Klusterman. Klusterman with a shot, just steered aside by Opolinski. Dumped around, Treadway looks. He sends it toward the middle. Has to avoid his own player, and Gaylord not able to get it out. Now it comes out, second effort at the blue line. Klusterman's got it. He turns, makes the zone, winds up, shot right into Opolinski's glove. He hangs on, and we'll get a face-off to the right of Opolinski. So Castle, Lehtinen, Collier, Schultz, and Cade Treadway up front. Klusterman and Conaway back. Face-off. Controlled by Gaylord. They chip it up. Klusterman steps in, pokes it back behind the goal line. Gaylord behind their net, tries to send it around. Good forecheck by Treadway, keeps it in. Collier tried to send it back to Conaway. The pass was intercepted. Gaylord dumps it out, and Klusterman sends it back into the neutral zone. Conaway had stepped in, intercepted the pass out, but the second effort by the Blue Devils made it out. Klusterman to Conaway. Conaway up the boards to Collier, and as Schultz was coming up across the red line, he was hooked up pretty good, spun around, and we'll get our first penalty of the game at 10:14 in the first. Number 14, Blake Sulky, will go to the box. My gut feeling is that was a hook. I missed the referee's call, but regardless, penalty. 10:14, 2 minutes on the board. Fogelman, Soper, Peters, Davison, and Weaver out there. That puck bounced off the end boards. I believe it was on the back of the net. We get a whistle. So Graham Peters will take this face off. He wins it. It goes back to Fogelman on the point. Fogelman hits Soap. Soap steps in, pawns it off to Davison. Davison back to Soap. Soap shoots wide. Beautiful shot pass to Graham Peters. Oh, probably 4 shots in this flurry. And Opolinski again filling up the holes in that net pretty well. Soap had, I thought he was taking a shot. It was not a shot at all. It was a very hard rifle pass to Peters, who deflected it just outside of the post. So Peters wins that face-off. Fogelman ends up with it. He shoots. Another great save by Opolinski, and we got a slashing call on... Oh, Davidson's going to go to the box. I missed the call, so I can't... That's Drew Davidson in the box. I can't comment on the offense. I didn't see it. So that'll put us 4-on-4 for 1:16, and then the Blue Devils will have the advantage. couple of the Blue Devils kids, Liam Ford and Cohen Ford, have played with some of the Trojan kids, and the goalie's mom told me that her child also played with Traverse City at one point. So Evan Blazak makes the zone. He comes in, backhands. He's going to go to Soper on the point. Soper fanned on the one-timer, but got it in deep. Barely out front. He shoots at Opolinski. The goal comes off the line, and after the save, the ref blows the whistle. We'll get another face-off in the Gaylord end. Face-off will be to the right of Opolinski. Burt Calder and Soper back. Blazak and Burley up front. Face-off, controlled by Burley. He goes back to Burt Calder on the point. Shot! Into the glove of Opolinski. He hangs on like he's been doing it all day, and we'll get another face-off, same spot. So Evans and Burley will switch up with Peters and Fogel. Sorry, I have the hiccups. Peters and Fogelman. Fogelman back to Burkholder. Burkholder shot toward the net. Wide. Graham Peters gets tied up with the ref. Comes around. Fogelman with an attempt block. Fogelman gets it back. Soper on the point. Clapping his stick. Burkholder tripped up on the blue line by himself, went down, but the puck ends up on Soper's stick, and he has time to hit Graham Peters. Graham Peters up to Fogelman. Fogelman races in, beats his man. Knocked off his stick at the last second. Peters goes far side to Burkholder. Burkholder fans on the shot, and the Blue Devils able to clear. The Blue Devils are 5-on-4 right now. And White's able to keep it in at the line. Gives it up to Fogelman. White races in. Oh, the pass was just off. The problem is White got caught back, but Blazak's covering for him. And the Blue Devils not able to control the puck. It goes all the way around. And Fogelman gets it out. The Blue Devils stop him in the neutral zone and bring it right back in. Blazak playing defense. Shot towards Schlegel, steered to Blazak. Blazak goes around. White and one of the Blue Devils players tied up. Blake Davidson races in, makes a move, shot toward Opolinski, steered into the corner. Evan Blazak gonna pick that up. He hits Weaver. Weaver makes a move, shot! He was going to the far side of the net, just missed. White was able to keep it in, but got off balance, and the Blue Devils bring it out. Dumped right back in. Weaver picks it up. Weaver goes behind the net. And he's got control of the puck. He hits Beatty racing through the middle on a line change. Backhander by Davison. Top of the circle in the middle. He hits Harv on the point. Back toward Davison. Davidson behind the goal line. Tried to center to Beatty, and the Blue Devil defenseman picked that pass off. White to Harvey. Harvey hits Beatty. Tipped. No icing. And Conaway and Klusterman will come back out. Even strength now. Conaway on the first side shot! Into the glove of the goalie. Knocked down. Rebound. Top of the circle. And the Blue Devils able to get it out. Tipped back in by Graham Peters. Beatty picks it up. And we end up behind the goal line. Graham Peters has it. He goes back to the point. Klusterman looks. He backhands it around back to Peters. Peters hits Fogelman, and the pass was picked off by the Blue Devils and out. Klusterman playing tight on the Blue Devils player. Conaway ends up with the puck. Cohen Ford chasing that puck down. And a long pass misses Beatty, and we'll get an icing call. I believe that pass was by Klusterman. So Burkholder and Soper back on D. And we will get Davison, Burley, and Blazak up front. Face off, controlled by the Blue Devils. Shot toward the net, off of the shin pad of Peters.
I'm not even on.
They go down, and the Trojans, as I looked away for 1 second, put the puck in the net. And Graham Peters is the first one to go through the line, so I'm assuming Peters got that goal. Doggone it, I looked away for 1 second. So a couple of shout outs. I know Grandma and Grandpa Conaway are watching in Surprise, Arizona. And then Pat O'Connor watching the game in Traverse City, Michigan. Thank you for tuning in, Pat. Soap's grandmother, Vicky, watching while rehabbing at Mary Freebed. Oh my goodness, that's horrible. I hope you feel better soon. Thanks for tuning in. And the Gaylord Blue Devils go back in the penalty box, which will put the Trojans on the power play. Evan Blazak comes up with that puck. Shot stopped by Opolinski. Puck goes back to Beatty. Beatty hits Rodenroth. Rodenroth's shot blocked by the goalie. All the way back to Burley. Burley looking. He curls around. He hit Klusterman. Klusterman right at the blue line with a shot. Just over the top of the net. Net comes off. We get another whistle. Face off, won by the Trojans. Soper hit Fogelman. Fogelman to Davidson. Puck comes around. Weaver knocked off the puck. Back to the point. Fogelman. Fogelman hit Peters. Fogelman comes in. Couple moves by Fogelman. Pulls Opolinski to the left. Fogelman went to the right. Puck in the net. And with 4:10 left in the first, the Trojans are up by 3. Trojans win the face-off at center ice. Burley comes into the zone with that puck. He tries to center to Fogelman, thwarted by the Blue Devils. Blue Devils bring the puck through the middle. Shot off of Soper's shin pad. Burkholder able to send it back to Soap. Soap to Fogelman. Fogelman to Peters. Peters in the zone. Peters hits Burley. Peters to Fogelman. Centering pass. Shot. Opolinski with a great save, kept out of the net on the line. Holy mackerel. The Blue Devils pick that puck up. They're giddy to take an icing and send it down and try to catch their breath. Again, there are 10 players for the Blue Devils, 2 lines. And I can't fathom trying to keep up with this pace with that many players. So Harv and White back. Face off won by the Trojans. White steps in deep. Puck comes around. Davison chases it down. Beatty, shot. What was that whistle for? It went off the glass. I think the referees might be giving Gaylord a breather. The puck was deflected, but it was pure glass and back onto the ice, and they called it off the net. Traverse City able to keep it in. Davidson hits Beatty. Beatty centers. Oh! The pass to Weaver just knocked down by number 14 for the Blue Devils. Blake Sulky, I believe. So Davison controls that puck in the Blue Devils end. Top of the circle, pass off the foot of the Gaylord player, right on White's stick. White dumps it in deep. Weaver sends it around to Davison. Davison goes to the middle. Gaylord gets control. They hit the blue line, red line. They're in our zone on sides. Shot from the far outside top of the circle. Easily gloved down by Schlegel, and we'll get a line change. Face-off controlled by Traverse City. Conaway comes around the board, sends it up to Klusterman. Klusterman hit Humphreys. Humphreys into the zone. Shot toward the net. Picked up on the far side by Conaway. Conaway pinned against the boards. Conaway stick tied up. And number 25 from the Blue Devils cross-checks one of our players. That was Ben Ormsby. And that draws a interference penalty. And the Trojans will go back on the power play. Face-off, controlled by Traverse City. Back to Soper on the point. Soper steps in with a couple moves. He curls back, hits Davison in the blue line. Davison to Fogelman. Fogelman with a great one-timer off the goalie's glove and out. Again, I got to give props to this goalie. We're up by 3, but it could be 13 at this point. Davison brings the puck out to Weaver. Weaver makes his own, breaks the defense, makes a move, scores on the power play at 1:16 left in the third period. So we'll get a wholesale line change here. Burkholder and Soap back. Treadway, Lehtinen, and Collier up front. Face off, controlled by Traverse City. Collier gives it up at the blue line. Puck comes back to Burkholder. Burkholder's pass tip. Treadway with speed forces a pass that Collier intercepted. It goes back to Lehtinen. Lehtinen's centering pass, knocked down by his stick. Less than a minute left in the first period. Sent back neutral zone. Burkholder picks it up, taps it up to Collier. Collier back to Lehtinen. Lehtinen up. And the Gaylord Blue Devils just picked that pass up. So we handle the puck out of the zone. The Blue Devils jumped in off sides, and when the puck comes in, the whistle blows. And we'll get a face-off with 30 seconds left in the first period. So So the face-off will be in the neutral zone on the far side of the ice. White and Harvey back. White picks that up, hits Harv. Harv hits Beatty. Pass missed. We're going to get an icing call with 21.7 left. Face-off will be down on the Traverse City end following the icing. And Davison will take this face-off. He wins it. Beatty comes out with it. Beats both men. Not quite. He beat the first guy. Second guy just got a stick on him. Weaver off the boards to Harv. Harv back to Weaver. Weaver with a shot with 5 seconds left. Sucked up by Opolinski, and we'll get another face-off. So Peters takes that face off, wins it, takes a shot on net. It goes off the goalie right onto the stick of Xander Fogelman. Fogelman buried that puck. The buzzer blew as the ref was blowing his whistle. So going into the intermission at the end of the first, we are up by 5. I'm going to go talk to Coach. I'll be right back. Coach, I got you between the first and second period here in Gaylord. First thing I noticed when I got a hold of the rosters today and looked things up, Gaylord's got 10 players and 1 goalie. I can't even fathom playing at this level with 2 lines. What are your thoughts on the first period?
No, I talked to Taylor before the game. There's a good friend of mine, one of their assistant coaches, and you know, I give those kids a lot of credit for continuing to show up and come and do this, because this can't be easy. Like he and I were talking, I can't imagine trying to run a practice with 11 skaters, and you know, it's just a shame that there's not more kids in Gaylord that want to come out and play hockey. But again, I give those kids a lot of credit. I mean, they've got to be tired, number one, already with so few bodies, but they're playing hard, and you know, I tip my cap to those guys.
I'm with you, and I got to give Opolinski some credit. The goalie, it could be, we could have had 10 in the first period. He's actually a really good goalie, and but again, you said it. You played hockey, I played hockey. I can't fathom playing at this level with 2 lines.
No, and I mean, you know, he is a good goalie. He's doing a great job down there, and you know, we made I thought a couple nice plays and some good shots that, you know, they weren't like they were soft goals, but then, like you said, we could have had 5 more. You know, he made some huge saves, and again, you know, feel bad for a guy just getting peppered like that, but you know, credit to him. He's fighting hard. He's fighting for rebounds, steering pucks into the netting, and he's certainly doing his part. But yeah, we got him a little bit overmatched.
All right, Coach, I'll let you get in there and talk to the boys. I'm hoping it'll be a good one. I'm really looking forward to the Vets Cup this weekend. I got 4 Navy buddies coming up that are all going to walk away with jerseys, and that'll be a great game. We'll talk to you between the next period and see how it goes.
All right.
Thanks, Coach.
Space heater's a lifesaver over here. Usually it's not that, even when it's cold outside, it's usually not that cold up here. Okay. Yeah, no kidding. That's the wind, I guess. I don't know. It's just ripping through. Oh, you got those too. Nice. Yeah, this is nice. I'm standing by this.
You know what? I might have to sit on it.
Yeah. How close did you go? It's turned down, but it's on.
So we're back for the start of the second. The clock's winding down. The boys are at the door of the locker room. And we'll start the second. The Gaylord Blue Devils end up on the ice first. Here come the Trojans. I'm looking at some of the, I brought up the comments on the YouTube channel, and it appears that somebody might have figured out it's my birthday.
Hey, happy birthday.
Hey, the cameraman just punched me and wished me happy birthday. Thank you very much for the birthday wishes. Every day above ground for me is a great day. And I could not be happier than announcing a game for the Trojans. So at the end of the first, we are ahead by 5. I don't know if you listened to my talk with Coach between periods, but again, trying to play at this level with 10 players, that is a gauntlet to try to break all in itself. So we'll start the second here. Grant Peters will take that face off. Referee drops the puck. Peters wins it, goes back to Soap. Soap hit Fogelman. Fogelman off the glass, but it hit a stanchion, took a crazy bounce. Burley brings it in. Burley makes a move. Burley's going to take a shot. No, from a bad angle. He sent it to the middle, and it looked like Peters had his stick lifted, and the puck went past him. Soper, Fogelman, Peters into the zone. Peters centering pass off Fogelman's stick, steered aside. Fogelman in the corner picks that up. He circles through the middle, hits Burkholder. Burkholder tried to hit Burley. Peters ends up with it. Burkholder bangs his stick. The pass across made it through, but it was just slowed down by one of the Gaylord players and threw Burkholder's timing off. Burkholder, with a pass in the neutral zone, saw the hit coming and reverse thumped the Gaylord player. So Gaylord not able, second effort, they get it out. Puck goes down to Harvey. And Harvey sends it up to Weaver. Weaver dumps it in, picks up his own dump in behind the net, comes around, thwarts off a check. Weaver dumps it in deep behind the goal line. Beatty after that puck. It comes around to Davison. Davison to Beatty. Beatty circles at the bottom of the circle. Back to Davison. Davison up the boards to White. White at the point. Shot. Deflection by Beatty just over the net. Beatty's got it at the goal line. He gets checked off the puck, but Davison came up with it. Shot blocked by number 12 for the Blue Devils. That is Liam Ford. Liam played with my son earlier, and Beatty brought that back in, took a shot. I don't know if it was Davison or Beatty, but the rebound came right onto Rodenroth's stick, and Rodenroth just had to tap it into an open net. So with 14:47 left in the second period, your Trojans are up by 6. Evan Blazak takes face-off. Face-off goes to Rodenroth. Rodenroth hits White. White comes racing in. White from the middle. Shoot. Block. Out by the Blue Devils. No icing off of one of the Trojan sticks. Harvey will pick it up behind the goal line. Sends it around to White. Harvey gets the reversal. And White's got it. He hit Davison. Davison to Rodenroth. Rodenroth makes his own. Centering pass off a skate. Davison sends it back to White. White tips it in. And now the Blue Devils will bring it out, but number 12, Liam Ford of the Blue Devils, is going to draw a penalty and go to the box for interference. So with 14:02 left in the second period, Trojans will go on the power play. Soper, Fogelman, Davison, Weaver, and Peters. Centering pass to the middle from Peters to Weaver. Shot on net, steered aside. Blue Devils pick it up after a scrum in the corner. They reverse, backhand it out. Trojans check up, brought right back in by Fogelman, tipped off his stick. Soper picks it up at our blue line. Soper to Fogelman. Fogelman, red line, blue line. He's in. Fogelman with a shot. Wide of the net. Goes all the way around, and Soper's got to pick that up. 1:20 left in the power play for the Trojans. Davison hits Weaver. Weaver across the blue line. Weaver drops it back to Davison. Davison takes a shot from a bad angle, and he went sniper over the shoulder of the goalie, just under the bar, and he lifted the high net, and he's got number 7 with 3:12 left in the second. So Berkey and Soap will end up out there in defense. Humphreys, Lehtinen, and Collier up front. Collier brings it in. Collier loses it in our zone. Gaylord clears it. Burkholder picks it up, hits the red line, dumps it right back in. We check up. Puck makes it all the way out, and it is on Schlegel, who steers it aside. No icing. Traverse City gets it up to Collier. Collier to Lehtinen. Lehtinen pounded on the boards. Puck comes out. Picked up by Soper. He waits for the boys to clear up. Dumps it in deep. Sends it all the way down behind the goal line. Collier with some speed. Comes off the stanchion. Blue Devils shoot it out. It goes all the way down to Schlegel. Picked up by Burkholder. Burkholder tried to hit Lehtinen. Gaylord has to check up. Gaylord has it at the top of the right circle. Shot! Rebound. Schlegel couldn't reach it. Steered aside by Kasu Lehtinen. And Gaylord was offside as that puck was brought back in. Ref blows the whistle. and we'll get a line change. Klusterman and Conaway back on defense. Burley, Peters, and Fogelman up front. 11:56 left, second period. Trojans up by 7. Face off one handily by Peters. Conaway hit Klusterman. Klusterman with a quick pass to Burley. Burley breaks in. He shoots, he scores. So that should be Burley with assists from Klusterman and Conaway, if I read that right. Off the face-off to Conaway. Conaway with a quick pass to Klusterman. Klusterman right up to Burley. Burley all the way down and then in. 11:46 second period. Trojans up by 8. Face-off one by the Trojans. Burley has to go backward. Burley hits Conaway. Conaway races in. Conaway looks. He button hooks. He goes back to Burley, who picks up his D. Burley with a shot wide of the net. Fogelman's got it. Klusterman, shot from the line, redirected right in front of the goalie by Burley. Before they can announce the last goal, we have another one, and I think that may be assist by Conaway and Klusterman again. I'll have to hear the call on that one. So with 11 minutes left in the second, Trojans up by 9. The rule is for a mercy. At the end of 2, up by 10, mercy. So Davison brings that in. He hits Weaver. Weaver shot, blocked by the goalie. Weaver gets his own rebound. He goes behind the net, chases it down. Weaver drops to Klusterman. Klusterman centers. It goes around. Conaway races for that. He makes it to the puck. Conaway hits Davison. Davison goes off to Klusterman. Klusterman's one-timer stopped by the goalie. Weaver's got it now. He sends it across. Klusterman picks it up. And sends it up to Beatty. Beatty makes the zone. Beatty looking, goes around behind the net. Beatty button hooks back behind the goal line. He goes to Davison. Davison to Weaver. Pass intercepted. Klusterman just able to keep it in. Davison tried to center off the skate of the Blue Devil player behind their net. Weaver, the first one get there. I hate to say it, but the fatigue is already showing very clearly on the Blue Devils player. 2 lines in a game against the Trojans is not going to be easy. So Klusterman tried to pass just outside our blue line. He thought it went off one of the Blue Devil players, but we still got an icing call. And up by 9 in the second, we have a run-time clock, which confused me a couple of minutes ago because I looked over after the whistle and it was still moving. But the Trojans bring it out of our own zone. Blue Devils clear their zone. White dumps it right back in. And we got an offsides call, even though we were checking up. I'm not going to give the refs a hard time. I think they're allowing the Blue Devils to catch a breath. Blazak takes a face-off. Back to Harv. Harv dumps it in. Goes behind the net. Blake Davison sends it behind the goal line. Blazak sets it up. Rodenross got it, centering pass. Now Harv's got it, he comes in deep, he goes behind the net, centering pass on the stick of Blazak, and as the goalie Opolinski makes a save, the net comes off, we get another whistle. Face off. Fought after, and the Trojans come out with it. A shot from the, not the point, halfway between the circle and the point by Harv. Glove down by the goalie. We get another whistle. We'll do it all over again. Face off controlled by the Trojans. Harv to White. White to Harv. Harv with a shot from the blue line. Steered aside. Gaylord comes out with it. They move toward the middle, and they are able to chip it out and dump it into our end. Treadway's going to get a penalty for taking down Blake Sulky of the Gaylord Blue Devils. And I'm assuming that the Blue Devils will be happy to get a break here and go on the power play. So Drew Davison takes that face off, wins it. It ends up, I think that was Graham Peters gets it. Shot out of the zone all the way on the net of the Blue Devils. And now the puck brought out by the Blue Devils to the neutral zone. East-west pass. Shot toward the net wide. And behind our net, Burkholder and Soap battle for it. It comes out onto, I believe that was Davison's stick. He backhands it all the way down to the goalie. Blue Devils come out. Nice pass to Blake Sulky. Trying to come across the blue line. Graham Peters gets a stick in there and chips it all the way deep into the Gaylord end. Gaylord able to dump it in inside of Schlegel. First one back there is Soper, and we run the puck all the way down. Blazak was able to tie up a player. Conaway comes out in defense. He's got to make a play against Sulky, who shot it in from the point. And now Fogelman comes out. He's got one man to beat. He's going to beat him. Shot by Fogelman. Steered aside by the goalie Opolinski, who, regardless of the scores, played a great game. Trojans back on full strength. Fight off another power play. Fogelman tied up by two players. Still comes out with the puck. He tries to center. Hits Blazak. Conaway steps in. One-timer shot off the goalie's pad. Second effort. And the Blue Devils send it all the way down for an icing call. And we will get a wholesale line change here. 3:28 left second period. Trojans up by 9. Face off, won by the Trojans. Back to Humphrey. Humphrey shot off the big leg pad of the goalie Opolinski into the corner. They battle for it. Collier Schultz off to White. White looks now. Schultz took a shot. Rebound went right to the Gaylord player. Able to get it out. Harvey hits White. White dumps it in. We check up. Gaylord picks that up. They send it around off of Harvey's leg and out. White dumps it right back in on the goalie. It goes behind the goal line. We're still off sides, and with pressure from Lehtinen, with the referee yelling at him that it's off, that will put the face-off all the way down in the Trojan end to the right side of Schlegel. Evan Blazak will take this face-off. Face-off won by the Trojans. Harv sends it around. And I think that was Blake Davidson. I'm not sure who he was trying to hit. It just missed Rodenroth, but it makes it all the way down. Icing call, face off to the right of Schlegel. 1:35 left, second period. Trojans up by 9. Face off won by the Trojans. Davison off the high glass, glove down by the defenseman for Gaylord. Gaylord at the top of the left circle. Sends it to Rodenroth. Rodenroth comes railing in, centering pass to Blazak. Blazak hits. Oh, 3 shots on the goalie Opolinski. And now it comes to the point. Soper's just able to keep it in. Soper, long pass, hit Blazak. Blazak with a quick shot. Not down by Opolinski. And the Blue Devils ice it and try to catch their breaths. With 54 seconds left, they're fighting like the Dickens to make it into the third period. One more goal brings this game to an end. So 40 seconds left. Conaway and Burkholder out there with Kasu Lehtinen, Treadway, and Collier. Face-off controlled by Gaylord, kept in by Conaway. He stepped in. Now Gaylord's second effort brings it out. Puck dumped in. Burkholder will get there. He backhands it to Lehtinen. Lehtinen hit Treadway. Treadway lost it in our zone. Now it goes up to Collier. Collier out of the zone. Lehtinen brings it out, and the horn blows at the end of the second. Score of this game. Oh, actually, what? How many is a mercy?
8.
8.
8, I think, yeah.
So 8 is a mercy at the end of the second. This will bring this game to an end at the end of 2. I'm sorry. I thought it was 10. It's actually 8. Again, I want to give the Gaylord players huge kudos. 10 kids coming out here fighting tooth, fist, and nail. They got to be true athletes and love the game, because that's a tough bill to fill right there. And their goalie, Opolinski, I know it was crazy lopsided. We could have won by 20. He did a great job of keeping that puck out of the net. Carter Schlegel will walk away with a shutout here. Blake Davidson with his first varsity goal. And your Trojans will come away with a big win. And I'm assuming they will not go easy tomorrow at practice. We have a huge game on Saturday. The Vets Cup against the Bay Reps. And with very few fans in the stands, Gaylord still gives kudos to their fans. Again, I'm blown away at the competitive effort and the sportsmen of the Gaylord Blue Devils to play with 10 players and pull it off and do what they just did and still finish out like they did and salute their fans. Boys, bravo Zulu, kudos. I give you a ton of credit. Good job. It's the best I can say. Great job by the Gaylord Blue Devils. all teams go through their ups and downs. Gaylord's going through one of their low points right now. I am absolutely sure they will come back and be crazy competitive in the near future. All right, signing off for Josh and I tonight. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes. I got my win for my birthday. We will be loud and clear on Saturday for the Vets Cup game. That's the one I want to win. All right, signing off. We'll talk.